When you can't afford court costs, in forma pauperis. What if I can't afford to pay court costs? Keep watching to find out what to do in Louisiana state courts. This presentation does not talk about federal court issues. You usually have to pay a fee to the clerk of court to file a civil lawsuit. You often have to pay a fee to file other important papers with the court. There are exceptions. 1. It is free to file for a protective order against domestic violence. 2. It is free to file a petition for judicial review if you are denied unemployment compensation benefits. If a court clerk tries to charge you a fee for one of these lawsuits, ask to speak with a supervisor. There is more information below. For most other lawsuits, you must pay a filing fee unless you can show the court that you are too poor to pay the fee. This is called filing in forma pauperis. Some of the major laws about in forma pauperis are in the Louisiana Code of Civil Procedure at Articles 5181 through 5188. Depending on your situation, the court may let you file in forma pauperis instead of paying your court fees in advance. Keep reading for more information, plus a link to the in forma pauperis application form posted on the website for the Louisiana Supreme Court. How can I tell if I could qualify for in forma pauperis? Louisiana law has some general guidelines about who should qualify for in forma pauperis. The court has to look into your situation and decide if you qualify. The law says that your opponent or the clerk of court can challenge your request to file or proceed in forma pauperis. The law about who qualifies for in forma pauperis is in the Louisiana Code of Civil Procedure at Article 5183, subsection B. You should be able to look up that law in a library or a law library or online. Here is a link to a Louisiana government website where you can look up that law and other laws. The law says you should get something called a rebuttable presumption that you qualify if you give the court supporting documentation to show the court one or both of the following two things. 1, that you get public assistance benefits. 2, that your income is less than or equal to 125% of the federal poverty level. If you have papers to show you get public assistance, SSI, welfare, food stamps, etc., or to show your income is less than 125% of the federal poverty level, it is important to attach copies of those papers to the in forma pauperis application. How do I ask the court to let me go forward with my case in forma pauperis? You must file special papers with the court to ask for an order to let you file and go forward with your case in forma pauperis. If you need to file an answer to a lawsuit or file other papers that have a fee, you will also need to apply to the court for an in forma pauperis order. The order lets you file papers in court without paying fees in advance, without paying up front. The court clerk will not let you file papers unless you have a signed informal pauperous order or unless you pay the filing fee. Make sure you have your signed informal pauperous order or make sure you have paid the filing fee before any deadline. When you ask the court for an informal pauperous order, you must submit the form. This is what the top of the first page looks like. Since you are the one asking or moving the court to let you file papers without paying up front, you are the mover. The form includes an affidavit from you. The affidavit is a special place on the form where you swear that you can't afford to pay court costs in advance. This is what the first part of your affidavit on the form looks like. Another part of the form is an affidavit from your witness. Your witness must be over 18 years old. The witness must be someone who knows about your money situation and who can swear that he or she believes that you cannot pay court costs in advance. Some people ask a relative or friend to be the witness. Here is the first part of the area of the form where the witness signs. Be careful when you fill out your informal pauperous form. Make sure you have all of the information filled out. A notary public must notarize your affidavit and the affidavit of your witness. You and your witness must sign the form in front of the notary public, who must then also sign the form to certify that he or she watched you sign the papers. Make sure you sign the form every place on the form where you need to. This is what the form looks like in the places where the notary public signs. There is a link to the informal pauperous application form on the website of the Louisiana Supreme Court. Here is a link to that form. You can also look at Appendix 8 to the Louisiana District Court Rules on www.lasc.org. The clerk of court at your local state courthouse should have an informal pauperous application form. Some clerk's offices have their own informal pauperous forms they prefer to use. If you are on public assistance or have income less than 125% of the federal poverty level, attach papers to your informal pauperous application that explain this to the court. These extra papers could be things like your public assistance award letter or a pay stub. You should black out your Social Security number on wage stubs or public assistance papers or other documents that you attach to your informal pauperous application. The added papers you attach to your informal pauperous application help show the court that there is a legal presumption that you qualify for informal pauperous. If your money situation gets worse during a case and you cannot afford to pay court fees anymore, you can apply for informal pauperous at that point. Remember to ask for an informal pauperous order before any fees or costs are due from you. Remember, the judge can say no. Can I get informal pauperous if my income is more than 125% of the federal poverty level? Even if your income is more than 125% of poverty, you may qualify for informal pauperous. The judge who gets your informal pauperous application is supposed to look at whether you really can pay court fees and costs in advance. The informal pauperous form asks you for details about your income and expenses. Who decides if I get an informal pauperous order? Generally, the judge will review your informal pauperous application. The judge can say yes or the judge can say no. The judge is supposed to issue an order that says whether you get to go forward in forma pauperis. What if the court says no and denies my in forma pauperis application? You can ask a higher court to review the judge's refusal. This is called seeking a supervisory writ. This is hard to do on your own. There are also fast deadlines to take this kind of action. Try to get a lawyer right away if you want to challenge the judge's order on your in forma pauperis application. What costs are covered if the judge says yes to my in forma pauperis application? Just about all costs. The law spells out what is covered at Louisiana Code of Civil Procedure Article 5185. Some examples include fees of the clerk of court, sheriff, court reporter, witness fees, jury costs, and costs of a devolutive appeal and supervisory writs. The in forma pauperis law does not cover a suspensive appeal. A suspensive appeal tries to stop a judgment from taking effect while the higher court is reviewing the case. Example, if you lose a state court eviction case, you need to post bond for a suspensive appeal. The suspensive appeal is to keep your landlord from throwing you out while the case is on appeal. May the court order me to make monthly payments for court costs. If you have an order to let you go forward in forma pauperis, the court may not order you to make monthly payments toward court costs. Can the court deny a judgment until the costs have been paid? No. If you are in forma pauperis, the court may not deny your judgment for failure to pay costs. Can the court make me pay court costs if I win? No. If you are in forma pauperis and you win, the other side pays court costs. Will I have to pay court costs later if I am in forma pauperis? If you lose the case, you may be ordered to pay court costs. In some cases, the law may give the court room to say that the losing side does not have to pay these costs, but you cannot count on that. If you and the other side settle the case, the judgment is not really official until all costs are paid. There are no court charges for someone seeking a protection order to stop domestic abuse, stalking, or sexual assault. This includes costs for a temporary restraining order, TRO, preliminary injunction, permanent injunction, or protective order. There is usually no court charge for a person seeking a judge's review of his or her unemployment compensation case. You can be asked to pay if the court decides that the case is frivolous. Where can I get more information about Louisiana in forma pauperis? Read more about in forma pauperis on the Louisiana Law Help site. See the item called In Forma Pauperis when you can't afford court costs. Find out about the law and court rules. The rules for all Louisiana state courts are posted on www.lasc.org, the site of the Louisiana Supreme Court. Click on Court Rules at the top of the home page. For information about basic Louisiana legal issues, see www.lawhelp.org/LA. Your public library may have law books and computers. See if there is a library at your local courthouse or law school. Thank you for viewing this presentation.